Chitab Kalenjin tesetai tuyet noton indochin Prime Cabinet Secretary ako noton ko Minister nebo Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Musalia Mudavadi noton nebo lumdaetab tetutiet anan arorutiet nenaat kou Kenya Foreign Service Academy Resource Mobilization Strategy noton ko netokyingei keboisien en kakimitetab tetutik chebo kakimitetab tilyandit en kwenutab emetab Kenya ak emotinwek chebo sang. Nitok kowendi kotoreti Ministry noton bo Foreign Affairs anan Foreign and Diaspora Affairs konyor rabinik cheyome koboisien en kanetisiet nebo kiboitinik chebo ministry notok asikotestai kokimit tilyandit nemie nemiten en kwenutab emetab Kenya ak emotinwek chebo sang.
Colleagues in the foreign space, members of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, I want to start by expressing my appreciation to all of you for joining us in this brief dialogue this morning, where we have had an opportunity to share with you the intention of the Foreign Service Academy going forward. I was listening to the presenter, and I thought he did a very good job. That is one option. The other side of it, he scared you off. The third aspect is that he has given you something to reflect upon. And then we look forward to your engagement after a deeper look at the presentation, which will be shared with all of you, so that if there's any specific area of interest, we would be happy to pick up the conversations with yourselves. So I'm here just to say this. It's an invitation to partnership. This is really what we are looking for. The investment from an individual perspective is substantial, but from a collective perspective, $30 million over a 3 to 4 year period is not a bad investment. And it would mean that we can spread it out and work together. After all, we do a lot of capacity building. When I see the tables around here, I know you engage in a lot of capacity building in different ways. I'm not saying what you're doing is not good or important. It is important. But I have seen records where sometimes even capacity building with even one single institution of the civil society is way beyond this $30 million we are talking about. That's a fact. In some of the engagements that you have, the programs that you have with different aspects of civil society, I'm not saying you should not do that. Continue. But here is a moment where we are saying, can you imagine the outreach with this? Replace Kenya with Africa, so that we look at this institution as an African capacity building institution in the whole field of diplomacy. So if we look at it from that perspective, it will not necessarily now become a scary proposition, but a fairly realistic proposition that we can partner with yourselves. So let me then just digress a little. This week, tomorrow, Kenya will be celebrating the 16th anniversary of our new constitution. 16 years of katiba mpya, katiba ya Kenya. So this forum is important as you reflect on it, perhaps as you focus on how you can partner with us. We can take our own special audits around how we have implemented our constitution, and perhaps where we have failed, there's an opportunity within the framework of partnering with us to see how we can now advance and make progress in some of those areas within the framework of the Constitution that perhaps we still fall short. Is it in the context of the Bill of Rights? Is it in the context of diplomacy? Is it in the context of conflict resolution? Maybe there's something that we can capture as we mark the 16 years of our engagement with our new constitution. The other thing that I may want to just flag again is that we are now on the countdown to the election. Our election is slated for 10th of August next year. I want to just reaffirm that we are going to have free and fair elections. That is our moral obligation. That is our constitutional obligation. And that is what we owe the citizens of this country, because with that, we will have a stronger Kenya, we will have a better Kenya, we'll have a more prosperous Kenya. So again, as you engage with us, because in this fora, you're going to be engaging with civil society in various programs around the conduct and the build-up to free and fair elections. We want to appeal, and I made this appeal yesterday, and we'll continue doing it because this is a moment when repetition is necessary so that an appreciation of the message sinks. We want to make sure that it is peaceful. Yesterday we launched a violence-free roadmap, and we brought together the IEBC, brought together the NCIC, brought together some of the development partners represented in this room today, civil society, security agencies, and all this. And the focus is that we want to have a violence-free election. So, in the partnerships that we have, the civil society engagements that you will be funding to undertake certain programs related to elections, I would appeal that you make the whole idea of a violence-free process integral and fundamental to that partnership or that undertaking. It's absolutely critical. The engagements that we have should not be engagements that will fan more tensions within the landscape of Kenya's politics, but that which will appreciate the diversity of opinion and choice, but also underpin the need for peace and a united nation after the electoral process. So this is my appeal to you, and I could not have gotten a better platform to convey this message. Because, I mean, let's face it, we are facing disruptions. I mean, what is the role of a diplomat in a situation where the UN is under threat, where regional economic blocs are under threat, where institutions like NATO are transforming very, very substantially, where conflict is increasing, where there's more pressure on matters of climate action. Is diplomacy failing? If diplomacy is failing, have we trained our diplomats well? Are they being skilled better to now intervene in these emerging challenges? Should we therefore invest more and start looking at what we are talking about? How do we tool the next generation of diplomats? Not to become warmongers, but to become genuine diplomats. Have we become too selfish when we define national interest? So that national interest seems to be trampled on everybody's rights as long as it's in the national interest. Are these the questions? Are these the diplomats we are generating? Are they the diplomats we want to generate from the foreign school that we have here? So these are pertinent questions that I thought we need to look at. How do we anchor democracy in this evolving situation? Why are we seeing some measure of dalliance, some romanticism that is beginning to evolve in certain areas with undemocratic institutions? We are seeing people beginning to embrace some measure of authoritarianism, thinking that it is better. We just have to look around and look at some of our own, start with our own continent, and then move to the other continents. We can even see in the social media, there's some romanticism emerging with authoritarian frameworks. Why is that happening? Maybe we have a solution here. I'm fundraising. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm fundraising. So I'm throwing these provocative questions because we need help. Not just for Kenya, but for Africa and indeed for the world. So these are fundamental issues that we all can work on, because people say we want to be at the table. Africa's issues must be at the table. Ladies and gentlemen, we must now be talking of meaningful presence at that table, not just presence. Meaningful presence at these tables that they are. Whether they are tables to negotiate political coalitions, or whether they are tables to negotiate continental issues or global issues, is it a meaningful presence? Or is it just numbers? And my simple thesis is that it will be meaningful if you have skilled people to be at that table. Then it will be a meaningful presence. And it will not be just a presence. That is the distinction we hope this institution can start providing. Are you going to be part of it or not? Don't worry, I'm not the Kenya Revenue Authority. But please be part of it. Help us so that we can build a robust country and have a robust diplomatic team that is holistic, that is seized with the issues that are important and critical to humanity, that respects the rule of law, that is ready and prepared to engage so that we entrench sound democratic etiquette in our society. And through that, we shall be able to create jobs and jobs and jobs and opportunity for our future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your wallets and help this fundraising exercise. Thank you.
Another round of applause. To remain on the stage, please.
Not chitaba Kalenjin ko Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi ni ngalali en tuyet ne baisien gelumdaro rietnele ne baisien sugulit natar Kenya Foreign Service Academy en chengetab legut natar ne baisien ke ganapta baisionik chebo sugul natar kaso mucho gimit kanetisiet ne kitokchin ofisek chebo Ministry nebo Foreign and Diaspora Affairs asiko gimit tetutik chebo kagimitetab tilyandit nemye emetab emetab Kenya ak ematinwek chebo sang. Ketestai logoiwek kobendi konyoru keswek chebo viasinik chetitotin kabatik chebunu komosta nebo Kuresoi ak komoswek alak chenekityin en konekit. Nito kosubkei ak kakwautiet nekoi Ministry nebo kabatisiet nebo koyat ketesiet nebo keswek en mbaret nebo ekarisiek 700 nebo Kalro nemiten Marindas en Nyota, Kuresoi North. Report nekinyoru ng'eten county nebo Nakuru ko nebo Sylvester Rono.
Bendi konyoru keswek chebo viasinik cheititotin kabatik kobun Kuresoi ak komoswek alak chenekityin en konekit. Niton ko kosubkei ak kakwautiet nekoi Ministry nebo kabatisiet nebo koyat ketesiet nebo keswek en mbaret nebo ekarisiek 700 nenomu kibagengeit nebo Kalro nemiten kebeberta nebo Marindas en Nyota, Kuresoi North. Kondochin igorta nebo yatetab ketesionoton bo keswek komwa sirindet en Ministry nebo kabatisiet Dr. Kiprono Rono kole takomiten barak rarunet nebo keswek chebo viasinik ak kounoton kokaib kakwautiet serikali nebo koyat ketesionoton asikotoret kabatik mising ko chebo Kuresoi chenootin en kabatisiet nebo viasinik.
Because of the demand and the plan the government has on potato production, so that we have scaled the value chain for the farmers to get certified seed and also enhance their production, the government has earmarked this center called Marindas to open a Kalro center, so that this center, which is around 600 acres of land, is now converted and changed to be a center for production of potato seeds and seedlings, and also other related research on livestock, especially the sheep, the merinos, which you know here, and the other animals like the dairy cows.
Kosubkei ak noton kosom kabatik koboisien komie ketesionoton ak mising ko kanapta kabatisiet.
So we'll set up a big farmers training here in Kalro, Nakuru, Marindas, so that all the farmers across the country, whenever they want to come and learn for new method of farming, they come to Marindas. So this going forward from now will change into a serious, productive government land for Kalro.
Kakwautiet na karameun sirindet en ministry nebo mung'aret Dr. Chuma Mukwana.
Na ile shida sasa tuko nayo ni kwamba tumefungua soko, imekuwa mingi, bidhaa imekuwa kidogo. So tunataka senda kama hii, na ndio nimekuja hapa kuangalia leo, isiwe tu bahari ya kusalisha viazi na mambo mengine, but pia kuwe na mambo ya value addition, mambo ya factory kidogo kidogo. Hapa katika Nakuru County tunajenga County Aggregation and Industrial Park hapo Njoro kwa shamba ya Egerton University. Nafikiri iko karibu 70% complete, na lengo ya hii serikali ni kutujaribu tuamushe viwanda zetu za kutengeneza bidhaa ambazo tunaweza uza uko ng'ambo.
Kamiten igoratan kandoik kobun county nebo Nakuru chekaindochi rubeiwotab Governor David Gones ak MP nebo Kuresoi North Alfred Mutai.
So I also want to encourage everybody here, those who are coming within, and the officers concerned, so that they can be able to reach the farmers, to sensitize the farmers the importance. The facility can be here, but the people might not be aware that they have got cold here. Me, I call this one cold, because this is the best place where everybody in the country is coming to benchmark.
That we as farmers, we really appreciate the initiative and the security and protection that is really protecting the farmers from being exploited by brokers. So I think that is the much we can say for now, and we say we'll take good care of this new child here in Marindas, and we really welcome any idea what PSU have guided us in terms of farmers training center. You know, all farmers here are just doing guesswork, but I know when this facility will be turned to a training center, we will actually be doing farming on the point of knowledge.
Kongeten county nebo Nakuru, logoiwekab emet chebo KASS, kainenyun ko Sylvester Rono.
Tesetai kobitu ng'alalet anan ko ketokini county noto bo Elgeyo Marakwet ole tesetai kakwautiet nebo kakirinda rarunet nebo referees chebo kataratab mpiretab keldo en Elgeyo Marakwet County ole tesetai kibagengeit nebo FKF ak kanetisiet koityi referees 47 chelelach. Kamwa vice chair nebo FKF mornetab Elgeyo Marakwet County Dominic Otieno kole tindoi maget kibagengeit noto bo FKF kokochi kanetisiet referees 300 konyait komait kenyit nebo 2028. Kinyoru report nebo Andrew Kimeto.
Kakotoi kibagengeitab katyaretab mpiretab keldo nebo FKF mornetab county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet tetutietab kanetisietab referees asikokirinda rarunet neo nekokotok eng county noto nebo referees. Kosubkei ak rubeiwotab nebo ng'echeret eng FKF mornanoto bo county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet Dominic Otieno kokamwa kole rarunoto kokikoyai kibagengenoto bo FKF kocheng referees kobun counties chebo Uasin Gishu, Baringo ak Trans Nzoia County asikotononji ureriosiekab mpiretab keldo chekitesetai eng county noto bo Elgeyo Marakwet.
Hatuna referees Elgeyo Marakwet, bado ni less. Hawa wakitoka tutakuwa na 210 referees, lakini bado haitutoshi, kwa sababu ukiona third edition ya gavana wa raia tulikuwa na 540 teams, na bado tuliomba referees wa Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia na Baringo. Sasa hii teams yenye imeregister gavana wa raia tuko na 720, kumaanisha bado tutaenda kwa majirani kuomba referees, haitatutosha. But itatusaidia mahali hawa wakitoka, na naomba watu wetu wajitokeze wakuje kasi ya urefari, itupee kasi rahisi sisi kama viongozi wa Federation wa Elgeyo Marakwet, ndio tupunguze hii mambo ya kuomba refari sana kwa majirani.
Kang'ong Otieno kole tindoi maget neo kibagengenoto bo FKF kokochi kanetisiet referees cheite 300 komait kenyitab 2028.
Target yetu tunataka tukifika 2028 tukue tuko na 300 referees. Na watu kutoka endo mali penye iwa kupata referees ni ngumu. ndio nimepata watu wa 7. So mpaka sasa niko na referees 14 kwa Indo ward. Kwa historia yenye hatukuwahi kuwa nayo.
Tetat konyor kanetisyonoto referees 46 eng betusiek 4 chemite tai.
Na training ya referees waliingia class jana, leo wako practical ndio warudi class. Na nimeona raundi referees yenye tuko nayo kwa training ni wengi. Hatujai kuwa na kiwango hii tangu tuanze training ya referees. Tuko na 46 referees sahi kwa class. Hata tuko na mtoto mdogo hapa anatoka Kibendo grade 9 ako kwa hii class sahi. Nilimwona tu kwa mtandao. So sisi kama ofisi tumechukua hii mtoto, tumenunulia set 6 ya uniform, kila kitu ya referee, ndio akienda kwa ground aendeleshe passion yake.
Kongete county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet, logoiwekab emet chebo KASS, kainenyu ko Andrew Kimeto.
Kakobit kurset en emotinwek chebo Afrika koker kole testai kobois en kibagenge missing ko en kebeberta nebo kakimitab kororindo nebo tuguk anan standardization asikomuch kokimit mung'aret en kwenut chebo emotinwek cheterter chebo Afrika akotestai uchumi nebo emotinwekab Afrika kokimit. Testai ng'ololi rubetab President Professor Kithure Kindiki en tuyet nebo 32 noto ne naat ko General Assembly of the African Organization for Standardization noto ARSO neyoe en Mombasa nekaimut kotuyo en kibagenge ng'amutik chebo sekta inoto bo standardization koboto ofisiekab serikali ako noto kotestai en Mombasa kiyon ng'alalet nebo Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Host of the 2028 ISO annual meeting in Nairobi. We look forward to welcoming the global standardization community to Nairobi and to demonstrate that Africa is not a mere participant in the global quality infrastructure. It is helping to shape the future of that infrastructure. As you deliberate this week, you reflect on the milestones of your strategic plan, the also Strategic Plan 2022 to 2027, as you also lay the blueprint for the 2027-2032 plan. And as you focus on a strategic plan that aligns with Africa's Vision Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the African Quality Policy, I invite this General Assembly to anchor your roadmap around perhaps the following imperatives for action. 1, accelerate harmonization. Prioritize sectors with the highest potential for immediate impact, namely agriculture, value-added agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and manufactured goods. 2, mutual recognition. Build robust and shakable mutual recognition arrangement among national standard bodies so that testing laboratories in Nairobi, Accra, Cairo, Pretoria, and everywhere else in Africa can speak to one another with one unassailable voice. Number 3, empower MSMEs. Quality infrastructure must not be a luxury reserved for multinational conglomerates. We must make certification affordable, accessible, and achievable for micro, small, and medium enterprises, which form the heartbeat of African employment. Number 4, elevate Made in Africa. Align standardization with our industrial value chains using initiatives like Made in Africa to benchmark authenticity, quality, and sustainability for African products entering global supply chains. Number 5, and finally, eliminate friction. Ensure that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area implementation translates into concrete, measurable reductions in border delays, redundant testing costs, and bureaucratic bottlenecks. Distinguished delegates, in Kenya, As our foundational Vision 2030 development blueprint enters its final phase, we are already looking beyond the year 2030 and shaping a new national development discourse, one that looks towards 2060 and the Kenya we intend to build for future generations. Our ambition is to transform Kenya into a high-income, globally competitive, technologically advanced, and industrialized economy. However, delegates, dignitaries present, the remarkable economic transformation across Asia has shown us that nations do not leapfrog into prosperity by aspiration alone. They do so by building institutions, investing in capability, embracing technology, and above all, establishing a culture of quality, productivity, and excellence. Standards are not simply a measure of quality. They are an instrument of transformation. They are the language through which quality becomes measurable, competitiveness becomes credible, and innovation becomes scalable. That is the Kenya we are preparing to build towards 2060. And that is the Africa we want by 2063. Since Kenya believes unreservedly in a unified destiny of Africa collectively, our commitment to ASO goes beyond words. It is tangible and enduring, and therefore, I affirm Kenya's commitment to ASO's permanent home in Nairobi. ASO has already had its headquarters in Nairobi, but the government of Kenya intends to scale up this partnership. In that regard, I'm pleased to announce that Kenya will make available immediately adequate and appropriate land for the construction of a permanent fit-for-purpose ASO headquarters, providing the organization with a home commensurate with its continental mandate and growing responsibilities. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is going to be Kenya's investment in the institutional future of African standardization. We view this commitment as Kenya's tangible contribution to strengthening Africa's continental quality infrastructure. We offer ASO a permanent home from which its vision can flourish, its operations can expand, and its influence can radiate across Africa and the globe. I have already talked to my brother's Minister Lee Kinyanjui. I already have an idea where the PASO is going to be, and after this meeting, we are going to start the process of formally identifying and handing over that property so that you can put up your headquarters as ASO. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of Africa will not be dictated by the resources we extract and export in raw form to distant lands. The future of Africa will be built by the value we add on our products, the quality we guarantee, and the markets we open to one another. Let us move from technical committees to trading corridors, from regional discussions to continental integration, and from separate national certificates to one certificate working for Africa. With those remarks, it is now my distinct duty and honor and pleasure to declare the 32nd ASO General Assembly officially open. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Asanteni sana. Shukran. And welcome in Mombasa. And I endorse what Governor of Mombasa said, except one thing. Don't spend all your money. Just be left with just enough money to get you from your airport of destination to your house. Otherwise, we don't want to have serious cases of stranded delegates on your return. You can spend everything else except the money you need to get from the airport to your house in your destination. Thank you very much. Karibuni Kenya. And I forgot to bring you greetings from His Excellency President William Ruto. He sent me with a lot of greetings, and you have heard already the commitment he has made on behalf of Kenya on the future of ASO in terms of providing the permanent home for the organization. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Africa, and God bless the world.